So I would like to first start by having, as Sinatra did in all of his shows, he always started with an opening act, would be usually a comedian. So we have a young man right here, coming all the way from Brooklyn, New York, a really funny, funny guy. I want to give it up for Mr. Andrew J. Lederer.
Hello, I'm Donna McKechnie, and well, I guess you know I'm not. Hello, someone's taking my picture. So it has always confused me why, well, why there is an opening. This is supposed to be this little segment here, and trust me, it will be a little segment. This little segment here is meant to be a tribute to the fact, as Andrew pointed out, that there was always an opening act, an opening comic for Sinatra. But it always confused me why, when you had a concert act who people were specifically coming to see, you had to have an opening act, which could only be annoying. Now, that's not the case tonight. It can't only be annoying. That's just one of the things that it's going to be. Probably the predominant thing that it's going to be, but not only annoying. But it's like people come to see Frank Sinatra, and when he sent me the text about it, he said, he'd be like, Sinatra's like Tom Dreesen. Do you know who Tom Dreesen is? Because of Sinatra or just in general? Okay, because when I saw Sinatra in 1991 at the Greek Theater, and I am, despite appearances, an actual comedian. There were a lot of comedians there because comedians love Frank Sinatra because Sinatra's cool and comedians want to be cool. And the thing is, what we did while Tom Dreesen was on is we hung out outside in Griffith Park and we talked because who would have wanted to see Tom Dreesen? And I'll stand back while you laugh at his expense because he's a Facebook friend, and I'll probably finesse him later. But the thing is, so when I heard that they were doing this tribute tonight to Frank Sinatra Jr., I was very, very excited because I'm a fan of underdogs. And one of the things I like about Will is that Will tends to do shows that nobody else would do. Everybody does Sinatra tributes, Sinatra shows. There is nothing more to be mined there. But Junior, there is an oeuvre that can be cracked and fried right in front of you, and you wouldn't even know if they were doing it right. I saw Junior. I saw Junior twice. One time, Clint Eastwood was with me. It's true, he didn't come with me, but he was there. And you know why Junior is better than Senior? Because he sang a big band version of Horse with No Name. If Senior, and that's what we call them, we in the cognoscenti refer to them as junior and senior. You know where I picked that up? When we went to see him at the Greek Theater, me and my friend Michael, who used to be this kind of comic who pretended to be a Rat Pack guy, and he called himself Jackie Diamond, and he used to be on the Arsenio Hall show, and now he's an Orthodox Jew in New Jersey, and I'm afraid to talk to him because he's probably for Trump. But we went there during the day, and we hung out all day finessing the ticket people. And at 5 p.m., some VIP turned their tickets back in, and we ended up sitting in folding chairs in the orchestra pit, one row in front of the family. Like, I was one row in front of Tina Sinatra, which means that in Sinatra's will, I really should have gotten a little bit more than she did. But it was an extraordinary show, and afterward, my friend said, they're at Chasen's, the late lamented Chasen's, which isn't there anymore. So we drove to well, actually what we did, because we were in the group where all the celebrities were, we walked downstairs with the celebrities where all the limos were, and people were just getting into limos. And I really wanted to just get into a limo, because they know what every celebrity looks like. How do they know? Maybe I'm somebody. Maybe that limo was for me. But my friend was afraid that the world would come to an end. So he said, well, they're at Chasen's. We went to Chasen's, and they were at Chasen's. And there was this big table, and Gregory Peck was sitting there, and Jilly Rizzo, and Barbara. And, I don't remember any other celebrities aside from Gregory Peck. But Gregory Peck is a big enough, and Frank. So at 1 o'clock in the morning, we sat at the bar and we like just watched from a distance and tried to hear snatches of conversation. And at 1 o'clock in the morning, everybody was leaving. Gregory Peck, Veronica Peck is where everybody. And Frank Sinatra said, "Where's everybody going? It's 1 a.m. The shank of the evening." Oh my God, that's Frank Sinatra. So when we were leaving, Sinatra and Jilly Rizzo, it was right before Jilly died, were sitting in a booth at the front near, and my friend said, "I have to meet Frank Sinatra before I become an Orthodox Jew. And I have to meet Frank Sinatra, but don't you say anything and ruin it." Now let me explain to you how I would ruin it. You can't see. I was a little insecure when I came up here because you couldn't see my shoes. But I'm wearing brown shoes. And I wore brown shoes because I wanted to establish that I am a Charlie Brown shoes. No, not a Charlie Brown shoes, but Charlie Brown shoes. Apparently Frank and Dean and all those guys used to mock people who wore brown shoes after dinner time. Once it was sundown, you had to wear black shoes and dinner attire. But now, mind you, this is a guy who, within 15 years of saying that stuff, was wearing a leisure suit on national television. But these are the strange things that happen to our heroes, is at a certain point, they don't care anymore. They just want to be comfortable and live another day. But anyway, so that's the way, is that effectively I am a Charlie Brown shoes. My friend was elegant. Do you know what ci devant is? Have I done 5 minutes yet, by the way? You know what ci devant is? Yeah. I know you know what ci devant is. Ci devant is a clothier. If you see all the Jerry Lewis movies, a clothing, but all of those Rat Pack guys and all of the people, they all got their clothes from ci devant. And there was a barber shop in the back of ci devant, and my now Orthodox friend discovered who that barber was and found out where he was in the 1980s and 90s, and we went to him, Art Fredman, and got our hair cut as if it was 1956, and everybody mocked us. But still was, and he told us stories of how he had actors like he showed us his book, and it was all people who were 97 years old. Like Fibber McGee was coming in the next Thursday. I'm not even kidding. Jim Jordan, Gail Gordon, the entire cast of Fibber McGee. So my friend went to ci devant and asked them if they still had the patterns for Sammy's suits. And he had them make him Sammy's suit. So when my friend walked in front of Frank Sinatra and Jilly Rizzo, he just looked like a thin, tall, white Sammy, and still a Jew. I mean, the suit was very familiar to him. So he knew that, my friend knew that Frank would sort of like have a kind of an almost subliminal sense that this was one of him, you know. You're wearing a ci devant suit. That's Sammy's suit. I love you, boy. And he actually did say something like that. My friend said, "You were wonderful tonight, Frank. It's so exciting to meet you." And Frank went with a very benevolent, "Thank you, boy." And then I walked over, and my friend said, "Don't talk, don't say anything." And I walked over, and I had to say something. How could you be in front of Frank Sinatra at Chasen's and not say anything? And I said, "You were great tonight, Frank," with the utmost of personal discomfort, knowing that my friend, you know how like when you're uncomfortable, the world is uncomfortable for you and about you, and you become the source of their discomfort, and everything about being uncomfortable in the world becomes you. That's who I was to Frank Sinatra in that moment. And he had the deepest, bluest, most beautiful eyes I had ever seen in my life, and they flashed instantaneous hate toward me. And that's why I said, hoping that he would melt, "You were great tonight, Frank." And he just sat there. He just sat there. We got in the car, and my friend went, "I told you not to say anything. You ruined my meeting, Frank Sinatra. He liked me, and now he doesn't like me." Well, he doesn't even know who you are. And that's why my friend had to become an Orthodox Jew in New Jersey. Anyway, that was a little bit of mildly semi-comedic storytelling, and my name is Andrew Lederer. I hope you don't hate me, and that I haven't made you too uncomfortable. I love you.
Show business hard. Show business hard.
Now you had a kiss.
Thank you. Andrew J. Lederer. You have to have the J in there. It's very important. So I would like to now introduce my co-host, a man who is one of my best friends, who is probably one of the most knowledgeable people on earth about popular music, in particular the music of Frank Sinatra. He wrote the definitive book on the music of Sinatra called The Song Is You. And his 10th book, 10th, is about to come out in May, Straighten Up and Fly Right, about Nat King Cole, who would have been 100, going on 101 had he not died a long time ago. And also writes for the Wall Street Journal and many other publications, and one of the funniest guys you're ever going to meet. And to give you a sample, we also have, before I bring Will up, I'd like if the John Weber, our accompanist for the night, who is one of the finest, not only the finest accompanists in the world, but you cannot stump him on any piece of music. When I say, would you like the sheet music? No, he doesn't need sheet music. It's all there. It's unbelievable. I have Marco Panacea on the bass.